Have you ever found yourself looking at someone else's life and thinking, if only I had what they have, my life would be better? Maybe it's their job, their marriage, their wealth, or even their happiness. That feeling that the grass is greener on the other side, it's something we all wrestle with. But what if I told you that the very act of comparing yourself to others is the silent thief of your joy, your purpose, and your potential? Today, I want to unravel what I call the greener grass conflict, the battle that takes place inside your mind every time you forget the value of your own life and chase the illusion of someone else's. Listen carefully, because by the end of this talk, you will start seeing your own garden for the first time, appreciating what you have, and learning why chasing someone else's grass will never give you satisfaction. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to look at someone else's life and immediately feel small, inadequate, or even incapable? Maybe it's your coworker who always seems to get the promotion, your friend who just bought a new car, or the neighbor whose house always looks perfect. You see them, and suddenly your own accomplishments feel insignificant. This is the silent trap of comparison, and it is one of the greatest thieves of human potential. When you start measuring your life against others, you step out of your own lane, and you stop walking the path you were uniquely designed to walk. Think about a young artist who spends hours painting, but every time they see the work of a more famous painter, they doubt themselves. They compare brush strokes, style, and color palettes, and suddenly the joy of creating is replaced by the stress of trying to be someone else. The result is not growth, but paralysis. Your purpose cannot breathe in an environment of constant comparison, because your energy is diverted from creation to judgment. Consider a student in school who studies hard, but sees the top student getting all the recognition. Instead of focusing on their own learning, they become obsessed with the other person's grades, their popularity, and the awards they receive. In doing so, the student forgets that education is about growth, knowledge, and discovery. Comparison blinds them to their own progress, and they miss the opportunity to excel in their own way. Your life has a rhythm, a pace, and a destination that is unique. When you start running someone else's race, you exhaust yourself and lose the direction of your own journey. Even in family life, comparison can silently destroy purpose. A parent might look at another family and feel that they are failing because they cannot afford the same experiences, vacations, or luxuries. They may feel guilty, ashamed, or frustrated, but in reality, the value of their family is not determined by what they imitate from others. It is determined by the love they give, the guidance they provide, and the integrity with which they live. The moment they stop comparing, they begin to see the richness of their own family life and understand that fulfillment comes from appreciation, not imitation. Think about a young professional watching peers climb the corporate ladder while they remain in an entry-level position. The temptation to compare, to feel stuck, or to think they are failing is overwhelming. Yet the very moment they shift their focus from the others to themselves, a transformation occurs. They start asking the right questions. What skills do I need to develop? How can I serve better in my current role? Where can I innovate and take initiative? The energy that was wasted on envy or doubt is now channeled into action, creativity, and growth. The shift is subtle but powerful. Comparison has been replaced with purpose, doubt with clarity, and fear with determination. Even in social media, the trap is everywhere. We scroll through carefully curated images of friends, celebrities, or influencers, and we forget that we are seeing only fragments, snapshots of moments designed to impress. Our minds, however, fill in the gaps with stories of inadequacy. Why am I not as successful, as beautiful, as happy? The comparison war begins in the mind, and if not checked, it can destroy confidence, ambition, and the ability to act. Yet, the person who recognizes this can reclaim their energy. They understand that their purpose is not defined by likes, follows, or appearances, but by their unique contribution to the world. The problems only they can solve, the relationships only they can nurture, and the dreams only they can fulfill. Even a small child in a playground experiences this. One child may run faster or draw better pictures, and the other begins to feel less capable. But if guided correctly, the child can learn that their value is not in outrunning or outdrawing someone else, but in discovering what makes them special, in embracing their strengths, and in developing their own talents. Comparison is like a thief in the night, stealing joy, motivation, and self-belief. But awareness of it restores power, and with that power comes purpose. Everyday examples surround us. The barista who dreams of starting a cafe, the young musician practicing in a small room, the writer staring at a blank page, wondering if they will ever be as good as their idols. All of them have a unique calling, a mission, a purpose. The moment they stop measuring themselves against someone else, the moment they focus on nurturing their own talents, their own vision, their own path, they step into the realm of greatness. Comparison kills purpose because it shifts your attention outward when it should be inward. It shifts your energy from creation to observation. And it shifts your focus from the journey to the illusion of someone else's destination. You must understand that no two lives are the same. No two journeys have identical challenges, opportunities, or timing. When you look at others with admiration or envy, it is not them you are fighting. It is yourself, your potential, your vision, and your destiny. The more you chase someone else's life, the further you run from your own. The more you water their garden with your attention, the more your own garden withers. The secret to fulfillment, to success, and to discovering your purpose lies not in looking outward, but in cultivating inward, in understanding that your life is your own masterpiece waiting to be created. And only you hold the brush. Have you ever found yourself staring at someone else's life and thinking, if only I had what they have, my life would be complete? Maybe it's a colleague who always seems to get recognition, a friend who travels the world, or someone on social media whose life looks perfect at every angle. We are drawn to the illusion of greener grass because we see only what is visible, the surface, the highlight reel, and we forget that behind every picture, every success, every smile, there is struggle, sacrifice, and unseen battles. It is easy to think that someone else has it easier, that life is simpler for them, that their happiness is guaranteed. But this perception is often far from reality. The grass only looks greener because you are not standing in their shoes. Consider a young professional scrolling through pictures of colleagues receiving promotions, bonuses, or awards. It looks effortless. It looks like they have everything figured out. Meanwhile, you have no idea how many late nights they worked, how many failures they endured, how many obstacles they overcame just to stand there in that moment. When you compare, you are comparing your backstage to someone else's highlight reel. The illusion of greener grass is not real. It is perception distorted by your limited view. Yet, our minds are designed to focus on what we lack rather than what we possess, and this illusion can rob us of contentment, clarity, and focus. Even in everyday life, the illusion shows up in simple ways. A neighbor may drive a new car, and you feel dissatisfied with your own. A friend may renovate their house, and suddenly your home feels small or inadequate. A colleague may receive praise for their work, and you feel unnoticed. These moments are subtle traps that the mind sets for you, convincing you that happiness and success exist somewhere else, somewhere outside your reach. Yet, the reality is that their grass is green because they have nurtured it with effort, patience, and consistency. The moment you realize this, you stop envying and start reflecting, am I watering my own garden, or am I chasing an illusion that belongs to someone else? Think about a small business owner who looks at a competitor with a thriving store packed with customers and assumes it must be luck or privilege. They may feel discouraged, thinking their own business is failing, not realizing the competitor has invested years of hard work, learning from mistakes, adjusting strategies, and persisting through challenges. The grass only seems greener because you are not aware of the sweat, tears, and discipline behind it. When you focus on your own growth, instead of chasing someone else's appearance of success, you begin to see opportunities, strategies, and strengths you never noticed before. Even in friendships and relationships, the illusion plays its tricks. We see couples who seem happy, families who appear perfect, and we measure our own life against those images. We fail to notice the compromises, arguments, or struggles that exist behind closed doors. We measure reality with imagination, and the illusion of greener grass leads to frustration, discontent, and unnecessary longing. The real wisdom lies in understanding that the value of life is not in imitation, but in authenticity. Not in what others have, but in what you choose to cultivate. Daily life is filled with examples. The student who envies the top performer, not realizing their hard work, their stress, their late nights. The artist who doubts their talent when comparing to a famous painter. The young parent who feels inadequate because other families have more resources. The employee who thinks others have a perfect career. All of these are examples of the illusion of greener grass at work, convincing us that fulfillment exists somewhere else, when in fact it is nurtured right where we are willing to invest time, focus, And energy, the illusion of greener grass, is powerful because it thrives on perception, on comparison, on incomplete information. It tells you that happiness, success, and recognition exist only in someone else's life. But when you step back, you see that life is a garden, and every garden requires attention, patience, and care. The more you chase someone else's illusion, the further you move from your own purpose, your own joy, and your own growth. The key is to water your own grass, nurture your own dreams, and focus on the work that only you can do, because true satisfaction is not found in the appearance of another person's life, but in the cultivation of your own reality. When you wake up in the morning and see another person's achievements on social media, when you walk down the street and notice your neighbor's car, when you hear about a friend's promotion or success, remember that the illusion of greener grass is a mirage. It exists to distract you, to tempt you away from your path, to make you forget that your own life, when nurtured, when cultivated, when given attention, can flourish in ways that no comparison can ever achieve. Have you ever noticed how many people are running through life with a constant feeling of dissatisfaction, always reaching for the next achievement, the next possession, or the next recognition, thinking that happiness is somewhere in the future? They believe that once they reach that promotion, buy that house, or attain that relationship, only then will life feel complete. Yet, true greatness does not begin with what you acquire. It begins with who you are and how content you are with where you are today. Self-contentment is not complacency. It is not settling for less than your potential. It is the quiet understanding that you are enough, that you have enough, and that your journey has intrinsic value, regardless of external circumstances. Consider a young professional who works tirelessly to climb the corporate ladder. They pour every ounce of energy into being the best, comparing themselves to colleagues, obsessing over titles and salary, believing that only when they reach the corner office will they finally feel fulfilled. But in their chase, they miss the moments of learning, growth, and creativity that occur daily. They fail to notice the skills they are developing, the relationships they are building, and the impact they already have on those around them. Self-contentment would allow them to celebrate these moments, to acknowledge their progress, and to use that sense of satisfaction as fuel to reach even higher. Even in family life, self-contentment makes a profound difference. A parent may look at other families and feel inadequate because their child struggles in school or because they cannot provide luxuries others seem to give effortlessly. Without contentment, every milestone of their child becomes overshadowed by comparison. Yet, when they embrace self-contentment, they begin to see the growth, resilience, and unique talents of their own child. They understand that greatness is not measured by external validation, but by nurturing the strengths and values within their own home. Gratitude for what is, appreciation for the journey, and acceptance of the present moment become the foundation for shaping a family that thrives. Even a small student in a classroom benefits from this mindset. Instead of envying the top performer, the student who practices self-contentment recognizes their own progress, celebrates small victories, and focuses on consistent improvement. Their joy does not depend on outshining anyone else, but on cultivating their own abilities and potential. Contentment breeds confidence, and confidence fuels action. It allows the student to embrace challenges, to learn from mistakes, and to grow steadily without the destructive weight of comparison. Self-contentment is also essential in creative pursuits. An artist, a musician, or a writer may constantly look at peers or famous figures and feel their work is inadequate. The temptation to imitate, to mimic, or to compete can be overwhelming. Yet, the artist who cultivates self-contentment focuses on their unique expression, on the value of their own voice, and on the journey of refining their craft. They understand that greatness is not about being someone else. It is about fully embracing their own creative identity, their own style, and their own perspective. Daily life is full of lessons in contentment. A barista learning to perfect coffee for a few customers, a shopkeeper who smiles at returning clients, a coach mentoring young athletes, a neighbor planting flowers in their small yard. All of these are moments of self-contentment in action. They recognize that greatness is not only achieved in monumental accomplishments, but also in the dedication, pride, and fulfillment of performing well in ordinary circumstances. Greatness grows quietly, steadily, and powerfully from the soil of contentment, and it can never be rushed, borrowed, or stolen. Even in moments of adversity, self-contentment acts as a stabilizer. Someone facing financial struggle health challenges, or personal setbacks can maintain peace and clarity when they appreciate their resilience, the lessons learned, and the opportunities to grow stronger. Contentment does not deny reality or ignore hardship. It empowers the individual to see beyond circumstance, to value progress, and to recognize that their worth is not determined by external validation. The key is that greatness cannot thrive in the heart of discontent. Discontent fuels anxiety, comparison, and restlessness, while self-contentment fuels clarity, focus, and purpose. It allows people to take full responsibility for their lives, to cultivate their talents, and to move forward with confidence, knowing that they are already equipped with what they need to create something extraordinary. Those who embrace self-contentment understand that happiness and success are cultivated from within, that the richest lives are not those with the most, but those who can appreciate, nurture, and grow what they already have. Even a simple morning routine demonstrates this principle. Someone who wakes up and finds joy in a cup of coffee, the sunrise, or the laughter of a loved one is practicing self-contentment. This simple act of appreciation becomes a mindset, a habit, and eventually a foundation upon which all other achievements can stand solidly. When people carry this mindset into their work, relationships, and personal growth, they stop chasing illusions and start creating legacies. Because greatness is born not from craving what others have, but from mastering and appreciating what is already within their reach. Have you ever noticed how envy creeps into your life like a quiet shadow, unnoticed at first, but powerful enough to cloud your judgment, distort your perception, and blind you to your own opportunities? It might start as a simple thought: why did they get the promotion? Why do they have more followers, more recognition, more comfort? The mind begins to dwell on what others have, and before long, envy becomes a lens through which you view the world. It distorts reality and drains your energy, because when your focus is on what someone else possesses, you stop seeing what is right in front of you. Consider a young professional who is constantly comparing themselves to colleagues. They see someone else praised by the boss, awarded a new project, or recognized for creativity, and instead of celebrating the success, they feel resentment. The envy consumes their focus, and they begin to notice only flaws, mistakes, and limitations in themselves. What was once a clear path of learning and growth becomes a maze of doubt and distraction. Envy destroys vision because it makes you forget your strengths, your talents, and the unique contributions only you can make. The mind becomes preoccupied with what belongs to others rather than what is possible for you. Even in school or university, envy is a thief of potential. A student sees another scoring higher grades, getting praise from teachers, or excelling in extracurricular activities, and instead of channeling energy into improving themselves, they are consumed by comparison. They begin to mimic, to doubt, to question their intelligence, and their own vision of success becomes clouded. The irony is that the students spend so much time observing someone else's journey that they neglect to cultivate their own. Envy turns attention outward when the only vision that matters is inward, focused on your own growth, your own talents, and your own path. In relationships, envy can silently erode joy. One may look at couples who appear happy, families that seem perfect, or friends who seem to have endless opportunities, and feel discontentment creeping in. Jealousy twists perception, and suddenly the person cannot appreciate their own blessings. A parent might envy another parent's ability to afford experiences for their children, forgetting the love, care, and guidance they provide that no money can measure. An individual may envy a friend's relationship, believing their own is lacking, not realizing that every relationship has struggles unseen by others. Envy blinds the heart and destroys the ability to see the value of what is already present. Even in creative work, envy is a silent killer. A writer may look at best-selling authors, a musician at a famous performer, or an entrepreneur at a competitor, and they feel inadequate. They begin to imitate instead of innovate, to compare instead of create. The energy that could fuel growth and mastery is consumed by bitterness and doubt. The vision of what they could achieve becomes clouded because envy distracts them from their own journey. The masterpieces they are capable of creating are delayed or even abandoned, all because their eyes were on someone else instead of focused on their own potential. Daily life provides countless examples: the barista who wishes they had the restaurant of a friend, the student who envies the top scorer, the employee who envies a colleague's raise, the neighbor who envies a family's new car. All of these moments are small manifestations of envy destroying vision. The more attention you give to what someone else has, the less you see your own opportunities. The more you focus on others' achievements, the more blind you become to the skills, resources, and paths available to you. Vision is not just about seeing the future. It is about perceiving what is possible, recognizing the doors in front of you, and taking deliberate steps toward your own growth. Envy distorts this perception and leaves you wandering in shadows, lost in comparison and disconnected from purpose. Even in moments of adversity, envy is corrosive. When someone faces setbacks, it is tempting to look at others and think, why not me? Why are they succeeding while I struggle? The energy that could be used to overcome challenges is wasted on resentment, self-pity, or bitterness. Vision requires clarity, focus, and resilience, and envy robs the mind of these qualities. It feeds distraction, promotes negativity, and reduces creativity, leaving a person trapped in the illusion of lack rather than the reality of possibility. Understanding that envy destroys vision is essential for anyone striving for greatness. To protect your vision, you must focus on your own growth, celebrate your progress, and channel energy into what only you can achieve. The mind that is free from envy sees opportunity where others see obstacles, finds lessons where others see failure, and discovers possibility where others see limitation. When envy is replaced by gratitude, admiration, and self-belief, vision is restored, and the path to greatness becomes clear. Many people spend their lives dreaming, planning, and wishing, believing that thinking about success is enough to make it happen. They write lists of goals, vision boards, and plans for the future. But if action does not follow aspiration, those dreams remain nothing more than fantasies. Action beats aspiration because the world rewards those who do, not those who only think. It is not enough to dream of becoming successful, wealthy, or influential. You must step into your power, take initiative, and do what others are unwilling to do while they are still dreaming. Consider the young graduate who wants a successful career. They may spend hours imagining the job, fantasizing about the salary, and envying others who already have it. Meanwhile, a peer who is equally ambitious wakes up early, applies to opportunities, learns new skills, and takes small but consistent steps toward the goal. The difference is not talent or luck, it is action. Aspiration without action is like planting a seed and never watering it. The seed may have potential, but without effort, it will never grow into a tree that bears fruit. Even in small everyday examples, action proves more powerful than aspiration. A barista may dream of opening their own cafe, picturing the menu, the ambience, and the customers, but unless they start experimenting, saving, or taking small steps to learn the business, the dream remains invisible. Another barista who begins small, saving money, testing recipes, and understanding customer preferences, gradually moves closer to the dream. It is the work, not the wish, that transforms vision into reality. Action bridges the gap between what is imagined and what is achieved, and it always beats waiting for the perfect time or the perfect circumstances. Students experience the same principle. A student may aspire to get top grades, to excel in sports, or to gain recognition, but if they do not study, practice, and participate, their aspirations remain just that, aspirations. Meanwhile, the student who consistently works, studies even when tired, seeks help when needed, and prepares diligently may not start as the best, but action builds momentum. Every hour of effort compounds, and slowly but surely the student sees results. Aspiration alone cannot create excellence. It only inspires hope until effort begins. Even in relationships, action beats aspiration. Someone may wish for a loving marriage, a strong friendship, or meaningful connections, but if they do not show kindness, communicate, compromise, or invest time in others, the relationships they dream about remain distant. Meanwhile, those who consistently act with care, attentiveness, and effort nurture bonds that grow stronger with each day. It is the deliberate steps, no matter how small, that create connection, trust, and love, not the longing or imagining alone. Action beats aspiration in entrepreneurship as well. Countless people dream of starting a business, inventing a product, or creating an impact in the world, but most never move beyond planning. The difference between the dreamer and the door is simple. The door starts. They make calls, learn new skills, network, invest time, and take risks. Even when failure occurs, action creates lessons, experience, and resilience that aspiration alone can never provide. The person who acts gains momentum, builds confidence, and opens doors that the dreamer never knew existed. In daily life, action can be small but consistent. Someone who wants to improve health must exercise, eat well, and rest, not just dream of a fit body. A writer must write every day, editing, revising, and submitting, not just imagine their book on shelves. A learner must study, practice, and explore, not just wish for knowledge. These small, deliberate actions accumulate over time, turning aspirations into accomplishments, turning possibility into reality, turning dreams into tangible evidence of effort. The truth is that aspiration is the spark, but action is the fuel. Without action, dreams fade like smoke in the wind. With action, even the smallest steps create movement, growth, and transformation. Action beats aspiration because it is measurable, visible, and unstoppable when committed to consistently. The person who wakes up each day and chooses to act, even imperfectly, builds momentum that no dream alone can achieve. Action turns fear into courage, doubt into clarity, and ambition into reality, creating a life that is not defined by wishful thinking but by tangible achievement. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to blame circumstances, people, or luck for the state of your life? Many spend years looking outward, pointing fingers, and wondering why success, happiness, or fulfillment seems to evade them. The truth is that the only person responsible for the condition of your life, your growth, and your future is you. Your garden, which represents your life, your career, your relationships, and your dreams, will only flourish when you take full responsibility for it. Every seed, every plant, every area of growth is yours to tend, nurture, and protect, and no one else can do it for you. Consider a young professional struggling in a job. They may complain about management, colleagues, or the lack of opportunity, but the reality is that their progress depends on their own decisions, effort, and initiative. The moment they stop blaming others and start taking responsibility, learning new skills, seeking mentorship, showing excellence in their work, and taking initiative, they begin to transform their own situation. Responsibility empowers them to act rather than react, to grow rather than stagnate, and to cultivate their own success rather than waiting for someone else to grant it. Even in family life, responsibility is vital. A parent may dream of raising extraordinary children, but if they do not invest time, attention, and guidance into their development, their hopes remain unrealized. The parent who takes ownership of their garden, their children's growth, their household, their example, creates an environment where learning, character, and love can thrive. No one else can discipline, mentor, or inspire your children as intentionally as you can. The results are not left to chance. They are the outcome of consistent responsibility, effort, and care. Small daily examples show the power of personal responsibility. A student who struggles in a subject can blame the teacher or classmates, or they can take responsibility for their own learning by studying, practicing, asking questions, and seeking resources. A young athlete may lose games and feel frustrated by the referee, opponents, or teammates, but the athlete who accepts responsibility focuses on training, improving skills, and refining strategy. The difference between those who stagnate and those who succeed lies in the willingness to own their garden fully, to see that growth is the product of deliberate action and not circumstance. Even in relationships, responsibility is transformative. Too often, people blame partners for unhappiness or family members for conflict, yet the health of any relationship reflects the energy, care, and attention each person contributes. When someone takes full responsibility for communication, empathy, and effort, they not only improve the connection, but also model the behavior that fosters trust, respect, and love. Relationships, like gardens, require consistent attention, pruning, and cultivation. If you neglect your part, weeds grow. If you tend carefully, it blossoms. Entrepreneurs experience this principle vividly. The business owner who blames the economy, competition, or clients for failure will remain stuck. But the one who takes responsibility for every aspect of their business, marketing, customer service, product quality, finances, and strategy, creates an environment for growth and resilience. Even mistakes become lessons because responsibility allows reflection, adaptation, and improvement. No one else can plant the seeds, water them, or pull the weeds in your garden with the dedication you can provide yourself. In daily life, responsibility can be small but consistent. Someone who wishes to improve health must own their exercise, nutrition, and rest rather than blaming genetics or work. A writer must own the discipline to write and revise rather than wishing for inspiration. A learner must own their study habits and practice rather than blaming teachers or lack of resources. These small actions compound, and the garden grows stronger with each step taken intentionally, because responsibility fuels growth in ways that complaint, blame, or envy never will. The truth is that greatness cannot be outsourced. Your dreams, your happiness, your legacy, they all require you to take ownership. You cannot delegate responsibility for your character, your skills, or your contribution to anyone else. When you recognize that you are accountable for your own garden, your perspective shifts. Obstacles become challenges to solve, setbacks become lessons to apply, and opportunities become outcomes of effort rather than luck. Responsibility turns ordinary moments into powerful actions, and ordinary people into architects of their destiny. Every morning you wake up, the choice is yours. Will you water your garden, tend the soil, prune the weeds, and cultivate what you want to see grow? Or will you leave it untended, blaming circumstance, fate, or others for the results you experience? The moment you accept full responsibility, the energy, focus, and clarity you gain allow you to transform your life from ordinary to extraordinary, because only when you own your garden fully can it flourish to its true potential. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to thrive, no matter what challenges they face, while others struggle even when opportunities are abundant? The secret is often gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite word or a fleeting feeling. It is a powerful force that multiplies growth, shapes perspective, and transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary opportunities. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, your mind opens to possibilities, your heart expands with joy, and your energy aligns with abundance rather than scarcity. The person who practices gratitude sees the world differently, and this vision fuels action, creativity, and growth in ways that envy, complaint, or desire alone never can. Consider a young professional who feels overwhelmed by the demands of their job. They may focus on the long hours, the difficult boss, or the challenges of the market. Yet, the moment they shift attention to gratitude, for the opportunity to learn, for the colleagues who support them, for the paycheck that sustains their family, they begin to see solutions instead of problems. Gratitude transforms perspective. The challenges that once felt like obstacles now become stepping stones. The effort that seemed heavy now feels purposeful, and the energy that was wasted on complaint is redirected into productivity and growth. Even in education, gratitude multiplies growth. A student who is frustrated with a difficult subject may feel stuck, discouraged, or envious of peers who excel. Yet, if they focus on gratitude for the teacher who guides them, for access to books, for the ability to learn, they unlock a mindset that welcomes effort rather than resists it. Gratitude turns struggle into opportunity, mistakes into lessons, and effort into progress. The student begins to work with joy rather than obligation, and the momentum that follows compounds into mastery over time. In family life, gratitude is equally transformative. A parent who focuses on the laughter of their children, the warmth of shared meals, or the moments of connection in small everyday rituals cultivates an environment of love and growth. Even when resources are limited or challenges arise, the parent's gratitude creates a sense of abundance that nurtures the family's potential. Children learn from this example, adopting a mindset that values effort, kindness, and contribution rather than comparison or complaint. Gratitude multiplies the growth of character, resilience, and happiness in ways that cannot be measured by money, status, or external recognition. Daily life provides countless illustrations of this principle. A barista who appreciates each customer, each tip, and each opportunity to serve finds joy in routine work and improves performance naturally. A shopkeeper who is grateful for every returning customer and for every chance to learn about business sees growth in both profit and skill. An athlete who values every practice session, every correction from a coach, and every small improvement experiences exponential progress because gratitude fuels consistency, focus, and resilience. The small acknowledgement of what is already present becomes the catalyst for extraordinary development. Even in personal setbacks, gratitude multiplies growth. Someone facing financial hardship, health struggles, or relationship difficulties may feel defeated if their attention is on loss. Yet, when they practice gratitude for resilience, for small victories, for lessons learned, and for support from others, their mindset shifts. Gratitude turns adversity into opportunity for creativity, patience, and determination. It transforms fear into courage, doubt into clarity, and stagnation into forward movement. Every act of appreciation is like a seed planted that will bear fruit in the form of personal growth, stronger relationships, and renewed vision. Gratitude also multiplies growth in relationships and social interactions. When we express appreciation to colleagues, friends, or family, we build trust, foster collaboration, and inspire positivity. A teacher who thanks students for their effort, a manager who acknowledges employees' contributions, or a friend who expresses appreciation for support strengthens bonds and opens doors for collective growth. The energy generated by gratitude amplifies effort, encourages innovation, and creates momentum in ways that self-interest or criticism cannot. The key truth is that growth is never linear, and external circumstances rarely guarantee success. The difference between stagnation and progress often lies in perspective, and gratitude is the lens that magnifies possibility. When people cultivate a habit of seeing what is present, appreciating what they have, and valuing each small step, their growth accelerates exponentially. Gratitude turns ordinary life into extraordinary opportunity, scarcity into abundance, and potential into tangible achievement. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice to notice what is missing or to celebrate what is present. The person who chooses gratitude begins to see doors where others see walls, lessons where others see failure, and opportunities where others see challenges. Gratitude multiplies growth because it transforms perception, inspires action, and aligns the mind, body, and spirit with abundance, allowing ordinary effort to yield extraordinary results today. As you reflect on everything we have discussed, you must understand that the real battle is not out there. It is within you. The greener grass you see in other people's lives is only as real as your perception allows it to be. The moment you stop chasing illusions, the moment you stop looking outside for approval, validation, or fulfillment, you begin to awaken to the power, the potential, and the greatness that already resides within you. Remember, your life is your own garden, and no one else can water it, prune it, or cultivate it the way you can. If you continue to focus on what belongs to others, you will never realize what is yours, and the very thing you seek will always remain out of reach. Every seed of greatness begins with awareness, and awareness begins with a simple truth. You are responsible for the life you lead, for the decisions you make, and for the focus of your energy. As Tony Robbins once said, where focus goes, energy flows. If your energy is scattered in envy, in comparison, in wishing for what others have, you rob yourself of the vision, clarity, and drive needed to create the life you were designed to live. But when you shift your focus inward, when you nurture your own talents, dreams, and potential, the energy you release becomes unstoppable. Greatness cannot be borrowed, it cannot be stolen, and it cannot be wished into existence. It must be cultivated, and only you hold the power to do so. Look at every challenge, every setback, and every obstacle not as a limitation, but as an opportunity to strengthen your resolve. Oprah Winfrey once reminded the world that turn your wounds into wisdom. Every difficulty you encounter, every moment you feel inadequate or left behind, is actually an invitation to rise above, to learn, and to grow stronger. The greener grass you think exists elsewhere may be nothing more than the reflection of someone else's patience, persistence, and hard work. The real power comes when you stop looking over the fence and start tending the soil in your own yard. Think of the countless examples in daily life. The student who practices diligently while others dream of perfect grades, the entrepreneur who experiments, fails, and tries again while others sit waiting for the right moment, the parent who guides with love and consistency while envying what other families have. All of these people understand a truth that most ignored. Greatness is built in the quiet, in the persistent, in the daily acts of courage, discipline, and responsibility. Your life will never reflect the fullness of your potential if you allow comparison to dictate your worth, your vision, or your effort. The journey to greatness is never about imitation, it is about creation. As Steve Jobs once said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Do not get trapped by the illusion of greener grass, because it is designed to distract you, to tempt you, and to weaken your focus. The grass may look greener because of what is shown, but you are not seeing the hours of struggle, the failures, the moments of doubt, and the relentless effort that lie behind it. Your focus must be on what is real, what is yours, and what you can cultivate with your own hands, mind, and spirit. Gratitude is your fertilizer, contentment is your sunlight, and responsibility is the water that allows your garden to thrive. When you embrace gratitude for what you already have, you multiply your growth. When you accept that you are enough, you find contentment, and contentment fuels clarity, creativity, and courage. When you take responsibility for every area of your life, no one else can control your destiny. Your potential is limitless when these forces align within you. Jim Rohn taught us, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And even more importantly, you are the product of the energy, attention, and effort you choose to pour into your own garden. Surround yourself with positivity, act with intention, and refuse to compare, and your life will begin to reflect greatness. You must act now. Stop dreaming of the grass on the other side and start planting, nurturing, and tending your own. Every action you take, no matter how small, compounds over time. The late night spent learning, the extra effort at work, the acts of love and care in your relationships, the discipline to maintain health and well-being, all of these contribute to a garden that no illusion can surpass. As Les Brown said, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Your own grass can be the greenest when you cultivate it with purpose, intention, and persistence. Remember, envy clouds vision, comparison kills purpose, and distraction steals opportunity. But awareness, gratitude, responsibility, and action amplify growth, multiply success, and awaken the greatness within you. Your life is not a reflection of someone else's achievements. It is a canvas for your unique expression, your effort, and your courage. The seeds of success are sown in the soil of self-mastery, and every day you choose to nurture them, to act, and to focus on your path. You create results that no one else can replicate. So today, as you step into your life after this message, carry this truth with you. The greener grass exists only in your mind until you create it in reality. It is not something to envy, it is something to grow. It is not a measure of someone else's worth. It is a reflection of your potential. You are not here to imitate, to compare, or to wait for permission. You are here to act, to cultivate, and to create a life so extraordinary that even the illusion of greener grass fades into irrelevance. The power is in your hands, the vision is in your mind, and the greatness is within your reach. As Napoleon Hill taught us, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, and your mind, focused, disciplined, and grateful, is capable of turning your garden into a kingdom that others only dream of seeing. Every morning, every choice, every action is a chance to water, prune, and nurture the life you were meant to live. The greener grass is not over there. It is here in the soil beneath your feet, waiting for your attention, your energy, and your courage. Step into your power, embrace your responsibility, act with persistence, and allow gratitude and contentment to guide you. Greatness does not come to those who wish, it comes to those who do. Your garden, your life, your legacy, this is your opportunity to make it the greenest, the richest, the most magnificent it can ever be.